All right, guys. So I'll wait. You know, we're about to start our third one and last one, which is the foam board one. All right. Now, before you start that one, let's make sure that we talk. So I'll say wait for us. All right, before we start the foam board one. All right, guys. Go back. How's it going, class? Nadim, I'm starting to glue. So for this one, we use the glue like we did with the last one and the blue tape as well. I would recommend that. I would advise that, Nadim. Right? You see? So, and again, you want to pre-cut the tape pieces, right? Just have a few laying around. You know, I usually put them, you know, somewhere here, like right now on my laptop, you know, or along the desk edge. You know, just kind of like do that. Anyone done with the poster board one? Anyone done with the poster board one? Yes, William and Vivian. All right, good guys. So what's next, guys? You tell us, right? How long do we leave the tape on? That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any reason to take it off right now, so I would just leave it. But I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know how long. Well, I mean, I guess you could take it off right now, but I think the more that you leave it, the better in theory. I mean, I usually would just wait until I'm done with, like, so for example, I'm about to start cutting the foam board, right? I would just leave it there and, you know, just let it be. But if you're like anxious and like, oh my god, I want to know, like, go ahead, you know, just learn from it, right? I mean, maybe it was enough, maybe it wasn't enough. All right, guys. So foam board, right? Lastly, we have the foam board. Now, after working on the paper one and on the poster board one, what do you guys think? Do you think it will be the same for the foam board? Big and Macer, a big O no. Why? What's wrong? I mean, we're working pretty good so far. It'll be harder to fold. So what do we do? William says, thick enough to just glue the edge to edge. 6 individual squares. What do you guys think about that? How do you guys feel about that? You guys like that idea? 6 individual squares, just put them together? What do you guys think? That would work better, I think. Well, tell you what, I like it better than folding. All right, tell you what, let's start there, all right? With foam board, guys. All right, so we can say that, right, this is for paper and poster board, right? All right. Now let's talk about. All right. Actually, I have it already up here. So for foam board, let's start there, okay, guys? Let's do this. Let's cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, right? What's the size of each of these pieces right here? Or what should it be? Two and a half, right? So, oops, wow. 2.5 by 2.5. All right, inches. Let's meet there. All right, don't go any further. Let's meet there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces out of foam board, white foam board, like the one that I have here. 2.5 by 2.5. All right, and let's meet there. Ain't no need for that fake shit, I asked them who the best and they say this. Oh my God, forsake him, he's tight-eyed. Relation to no other patient, doctor say he's a prop. Funny niggas do that hating when they ain't on their job. Never shepherd on the desert, never sweat and spread the message. Touch your brain like massage. Words came and collide. We concentrating on paper and infiltrating the blocks. So roll up the great A's and get faded and toast to the days of shit. Look what we made us, huh? So again, super handy, right? I mean, if you have a T-square out of metal, because you can cut with this one, just be careful, because you can also damage it. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but there's like a scratch right here, because this is out of plastic tough metal bottom, but it still works to cut. So I'm going to do just that. All right, guys. So foam board. You're gonna use a lot of foam board to make models. So it's good that you start familiarizing with foam board, and foam board is your friend. So especially with foam board, right? You want to score and cut slowly, right? Check this out. All right, so 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, 4, 5. All right, so 5 cuts. I separated this piece right here. Okay. So cutting that so that it's not in the way, right? Because what we are actually after is 6 pieces that are 2.5 by 2.5. So again, measure twice, cut once, make sure that they are in fact 2.5 by 2.5 inches. Professor, the paper boxes has to be white, or can it be other color? Well, right now, just work with what you have. It should be white, but if that's stopping you from, whatever you have. But if you can find white. Yes, you're welcome, Natalia. So again, the foam board, whenever you're cutting it, be patient with it. Right? Be very, very patient. You know, just do one score, you know, do a second one, a third, a fourth, and you'll see how you feel when you've gone through and when it snaps out, right? I mean, when you feel like it's done, right? But especially with foam board, it's not about strength. It's about patience, and it's about having a sharp tool. So foam board is known for dulling your blades, right? So you might not feel like you need a new blade, right? Especially because you don't want to waste them, you know. But trust me, you do want to switch them out very, very often, right? All of your cutting blades. I know it might feel like, oh man, like just throwing them away, but trust me, your model will thank you for having clean cuts, right? If you switch your blades often. See, like what I've done right here, I'll show you guys, right? So I have lined up, right? For those of you guys that maybe are watching this recorded, or even if you're watching it here right now, you'll see that I lined up, right? The 6 boxes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I went ahead and cut them, right? Like this is cut already. You guys can see, right? Like that's cut. Like each of these ones are cut right here. Right? So these are already cut, so that when I do one long cut from here to there, all of these ones are gonna fall. That's the idea. But in order to do that, I gotta be very careful, right? With my cut, and that it doesn't slide on me, right? So I'm gonna stand up so that I have a very better posture and a better grip on my tools, right? I set my tool down, right? I mean, again, I want to hold it with my, if you're right-handed, then with my left hand, right? So that I can cut with my right. And it might be opposite if you're left-handed, right? But notice that I'm going slow. These large cuts, these long cuts, can be really good to hurt yourself, right? So always keep an eye right here on what you're doing. If you're watching something, or if you're listening to something like music or anything, that's fine. Just again, be careful with what you're doing. If you're talking to someone, right? Some of you guys can multitask better than others, right? But right, so this is what I end up with, right? 2, 4, 6 pieces like this. All right. Get here to this point right here, and then wait. All right, let's talk about how we're gonna glue this together, because I think we had a few options right there on the screen. Well, Crystal was in history, right? I mean, Crystal was in history with me last semester. Are you still here, Crystal? Maybe she is, right? You remember what we were doing, Crystal, in history for our base? Miss Manhattas, would you remember? Yeah, so you know where we're heading with this? What were we doing? What are we trying to do? Concealed edges, she says. What do we mean by concealed edges, guys? Do you guys see the instructions? 1, 2, 3. Let me put those on the screen again. 1, 2, 3. Right. So we're doing this last one right here, right? 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 white foam board box with concealed edges right here. What does that mean? Alright guys, so I'm waiting for you guys to have your 6 pieces so that we can discuss about how we're gonna put these 6 faces together so that we can get our last cube. How's everyone doing? You guys have your 6 pieces? Halfway, almost. All right, that's fine. Take your time. Take your time because I do need your attention in a few minutes so that we can talk about how we're going to do this. It's a special kind of process. Alright guys, how's everyone doing? Are you guys almost done with your cuts? Foam board faces? Hey guys, again, technical difficulties here. There we go. Can you guys see me, hear me? Yes, all right, thank you. I don't know why my screensaver keeps popping up and it messes everything. All right, so again, guys, waiting for you guys to get to this point where you have 6 individual pieces by themselves. So we can talk about how we're gonna put this thing together and how is this connected to our project. All right. How are you guys doing? You guys have your 6 pieces cut? This? Got them. All right. Good. All right, guys. So let's talk about this. Right? Let's think about this real quick. So I think someone had in mind a few ways to put this thing together, no? So that we end up kind of like with that right there. Because we cannot really fold these things, right? I mean, I guess we could, but it'd just be kind of very, very hard. So I think a few were saying kind of like do this right here, right? Let's see. Let me look something up actually. So we're not really working with wood, but it kind of works like it. Let's see. All right, I think this is it. All right, guys. So if I could borrow your attention real quick, let's talk about foam board and how to conceal the edges that I've been talking about right here. Can you guys see the diagrams that are there right now on my screen, the wood ones? This one's right here. Good. All right, guys. So there's types of joints, right? And you'll see right here that there's quite a bit, right? I mean, there's all sorts of joints right here, right? Bow wells and whatnot. So if you have some experience working with wood, right, or just craft in general, right, you'll start seeing some of these diagrams right here, right? Types of wood joints, and you've probably seen them, right? You've probably seen them on furniture, desks, sofas, tables, chairs, you name it, right? They're all over the place. These joints, right? These types of joints right here that we're talking about. So again, some of these are particular to wood, right? I mean, not that we can use in foam board, but this one's right here, we can use, right? So some of the most common ones that you're going to use, right, are the rabbit, the butt joint, the miter joint, and perhaps the lap joint, right? You probably have seen this before, right? The dovetail joint. It's very beautiful, right? How it kind of like, it just assembles itself like this, like a little puzzle, right? It's pretty awesome. But there's special tool for that, and again, it's for us in foam board, we're not going to be using it. But again, for us, we're going to be working with this, and the one that we're trying to do with this foam board is called the rabbit joint. All right, so take note of that, remember it, right? I mean, your instructor is going to ask you, right, do a rabbit joint, right? Or they might ask you to do a butt joint, or they might ask you to do a miter joint. Again, for all of these three, right, 1, 2, and 3, and more, there's a special tool that you would use to put it together, right? Now, I think the one that a few of you were suggesting to do on the chat right there was to do the butt joint, right? To do the butt joint like this. Now, if I was to do that joint right there, and I compare it to this box right there, what's the difference, right? I mean, how do this butt joint right there differentiates from the boxes that we've been making so far in terms of these edges right there? What do you guys see that is kind of, you know, different and not really aesthetically similar to what we've been getting over here? Huh? This one versus this one, so what are some differences, right? All right, so William and Crystal hit on the two main things, right? And William again. So there's two problems here, right? One is the filling, right? That I think William is referring to, which is the sandwich part right there, this one, and the size, right? Because if I do that, right, if I join them like this, I said that I do a butt joint like that, right? So I sandwich this one right there and this one like this. Is this gonna be still 6 inches right here? This right here, is that still 6 inches? If I glue them like this with the butt joint? No, right? It's not. It's gonna be 2.5 inches plus this plus this. So the boxes are not gonna be the same. You see the problem with that? So two problems with this, and the main problem is the thickness of the material, right? So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use this type of joint, number 1, which is the rabbit joint. All right, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. All right, so again, you see that the foam board itself, right, it's kind of a sandwich, right? It has paper, the filling, which is the foam, and then another layer of paper, right? Now we're going to remove, right, one piece of paper and the entire foam, so that we do this right here. You guys see that right there? So if I remove this one from this one, there we go. I don't kind of like get the camera angle right there. So you see how this one right here, it's kind of right. So it has this edge right there, and then this one over here, right? So that's the rabbit part of the joint, so that when it overlaps, right, it conceals the edges, right? And that's what I mean by concealing the edges, right? You really don't see it right there, but you know, these edges are concealed there. All right. So how do we do that? What do we need to know in order to do that? How do we do that? William, I have no idea. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you, okay? Let me show you here right now. All right, so perhaps you can see it better here, all right? So check this out, guys. All right, so on one end, on one face, I have the number 1 right there. And let me grab my ruler right here, right? So this is 2.5 inches right there by 2.5 inches, right? But if I flip it, notice what I have done, right? I get rid of the 1 layer of paper and the entire foam filling, right? I get rid of a layer of paper and the foam filling right here, all right? So that this piece right here now matches with this one, and you have a clean edge right here. And this is really important, right? Because it makes our work look clean, nice, sharp, right? And unfortunately, the camera is not picking this up very good, right? But there's actually this line right here, right? So you see how, you know, this notch right there. So how do we do that, Munoz? Should be the question. I'll show you guys how do we do that. All right. So we need to know the thickness of the material so that we could then subtract it from its adjacent piece so that they notch like this, and we create our what joint? Rabbit, right? Or rabbit joint, right? So we need to measure the thickness of the material, right? Which roughly equals to how thick is this foam board? It might be different for you, but how thick is your foam board if you measure its thickness? I'll give you guys some time to measure that. How thick is your foam board? How thick is your foam board, guys? No? Anyone? Come on. Mr. Pyle, thank you very much. All right. About 316 says William. That's correct. Right? 316 will do. Right? So what we need to do, right? 2 pieces. Right now we're gonna be working with 4 pieces. Right? These 4 pieces right here. All right. 2 are gonna be left untouched. 2 of them we're going to cut like this. Okay, and I'll show you guys in a minute. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to measure 3/16 on each end, and let me write it down right here so you guys can see it right here. Right? So we need to measure 3/16 on both ends, 3/16. We need to draw a line, and then we need to cut, but not all the way through. All right, guys? Check this out before you go anywhere. All right? So I place my straight edge there, right? And I start going in, right? But notice that I want to go in, all right, just enough to not cut the second layer of paper, right? So again, I want to cut through here, right? But I don't want to cut all the way through, right? So I gotta kind of get a feel for it, right? Kind of like there, right? And I do the same. This is going through so easily because I already pre-cut it, right? So that's kind of like there. You should definitely not do it like I'm doing it right now in the air, right? So that's the first step. Well, the first step is to measure and to draw your guides right there. And again, that's the thickness of the material, right? The 3/16, right? The second is to score it. Well, actually cut the first layer of paper, cut through the sandwich layer, which is the foam, right? And then do the same on the opposite side. The last step, right? I'm going to use my X-Acto, right? And keep an eye on your screen, right? I'm going to get rid of the foam piece like this, right? You guys see that? So this piece, right, came out from here, right? Notice now that I have, again, the first piece of paper is gone, the foam sandwich center piece is gone, and I'm left with this outer paper edge right here. Now, I'm going to grab something such as your scale, or, you know, in this case, I have this little tool right here, but if you don't have that, you can use your scale, right? I'm just going to remove, right, all of this material that is left of foam, right? So I clean it up, right? You know, there's kind of like this residue right there. So I'm going to do the second side, all right? Right? So place your X-Acto right here, move it outwards, right? And you see how this snapped out, right? That goes right here. All right, cool. I use something straight right here, right? So just kind of like clean it up right here to remove as much foam piece as I can. You don't want to overdo it, so that you don't want to cut through this, right? Because this is what's going to block or hide your edges right here, right? So that you end up with two of those pieces, right? And then you have these two pieces that we didn't do anything to them. But let me give myself some room right here. If I put them like this, I put this right here, I put this right here, I put this right here and there, you should end up with something like this. You guys see that? Had any of you guys worked with doing this before? Had any of you guys done that rabbit joint? No, this is William. All right, well, let's give it a try to see how it goes, okay? It takes a little bit of practice. But you see how this piece right here creates this very nice reception, right, of this piece right there. And again, we have those concealed edges. Now, after that, we need to talk about the top, because the top part, right, it's different, right? We need to talk about that. All right, so let's get to this point, guys, right? Cut. Again, you're gonna grab 4 pieces, right? 2 pieces, you're gonna leave them untouched, right? You're gonna leave them nothing to those. 2 pieces, right? You're going to score and cut through the first layer of paper and through the layer of foam, right? And again, what is this thickness? Well, is the thickness of the foam board, which we have noted right here, that is the 3/16, right? This piece snaps off, right? We do that on both ends for both pieces. And then that will allow us to put this little puzzle together. All right, let's go ahead and try that right now. We're going to run longer than usual, right? We're already at almost 3 hours, but that's okay. If you gotta go, you gotta go. I'll continue recording and you can just reference this, all right? So if you gotta go, that's fine, but if you can just get through this, that's good for you, right? But just FYI, you know, but I'll continue recording and you can catch up whenever you're done with it. So let's meet here, and let's meet here, right? And for right now, I'm not gonna glue it yet. I'm just gonna tape it, right? So I'm gonna put a piece of tape right there, another piece of tape right here. I'm gonna put another piece of tape right here and right here. But don't glue it yet. until we have all of our pieces, we've checked everything out, and everything works out, then we'll glue it. All right, so you should have something like this. Like, again, notice you have those clean edges, right? And they're not butted. They are what? Rabbit joint, all right? And then we gotta talk about how we're gonna make this guy right here fit, right? So again, we gotta make this one fit, right? Because again, if I put this lid right there and I put this lid right here, right, I have changed this proportion, and then my boxes are not the same size anymore. You guys see that? And this happens a lot, guys, in Studio One, in Design One. A lot of students forget about this, and you end up with this really off shapes. All right. So let's meet here, right? When you have this box like this, it's not glued again; it's just taped, right? It's holding in place. Right. Let's meet right here, so we can talk about how to put the caps here at the end. All right.